video, I'll show you how to make this bag. It's super beginner friendly, and I say that because I'm a beginner. It'll take you around 3 to 5 hours to make. Also, if any of the instructions in the video are unclear, please let me know down in the comment section so I can improve and try to explain the instructions better in my next video. What are the materials that we will need? You'll need 300 grams, approximately 300 grams, I would say 270 almost. So yeah, almost 270 grams of pink yarn and 270 grams of yellow yarn. It has to be t-shirt yarn, and mine is a weight 6. Make sure it's t-shirt yarn. Yeah, other yarns won't give this look. Then we need a 10mm or a 12mm hook. Now the thing is, I used a 8mm hook to make this, but that's because I couldn't find a bigger hook to buy anywhere, which is why I just had to compromise and go ahead with the 8mm. But use a bigger hook if you have it, because you'll be working with both the yarns, like these two colors, on your hook the entire time. So if you have a smaller hook, it'll be really hard to pull through in places. That's why I use a bigger hook. And then you'll need a couple of stitch markers. You can use bobby pins, paper clips, or safety pins instead if you don't have stitch markers, and some scissors. So let's go. Okay, so we grab both the yarns. We're gonna start off by making a slip knot. So you make the yarn go over your index and pinch it like this, the end tail, and here we have the working tail, and you make it go over your index again. Then pull the back loop in front, and there, like where your finger is, you insert your hook and then just tighten it. So we have a slip knot, and then we're gonna chain. So for chaining, you go under the yarn and then come over and then pull through. Wait, sorry, I've got the wrong hook. Yep, so I was saying you go under the yarn, then come over and then pull through. So this V-like thing you see, that's the first chain. Remember that this is the slip knot, so like if you can't see the V yet, make sure you don't confuse the first thing with the first chain. And also the loop on the hook is not a chain. Again, so we go under, wait, so slowly. You have the hook here. You go under, over, and then pull through. So we've done 2 chains. If you see, you can see this V chain-like thing. And then there's a loop on your hook, which you can pull really hard or tighten very much. So you want to make sure it's like the same tension. You don't want to make it too tight, because then if you make it too tight, then it will be really hard to pull it through, because essentially when you have this loop on your hook, you yarn over and pull through. You're pulling through the loop which was previously on your hook. So if you make it too tight, it will be really hard to pull through. But if you make it too loose, that'll be problematic too, because then your chain won't look uniform. Like if I've made it too loose like this and I chain, we can see the difference between the first two and this third one. That's why you want to try to maintain like a constant tension, like that. So right now I've done, so this first thing is my slip knot. Then we have the first V, second V, third V, fourth V. And then I have a loop on my hook, which does not count as a chain. So I've done 4 chains. We're gonna do more. So you just go under and then over and then pull through. So here the loop, the hook, the yarn. From one side you go under, then you have this thing going on, then you use this hook part to pull through the loop. So from the left side you go under, right side you come over and then pull through the loop. 1 2 3 one sec, sorry. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. All right, so we've done 15. Now what you're gonna do is take 2 stitch markers for now. Now put 1 stitch marker on the second put it on the second chain, and in this side of the chain, like when you look at your piece foundation, this is called the foundation chain. When you look at it from above, there'll be like, you know, well, a right side and left side. I think it has a more technical name, but I can't remember it. So you put it in this loop. So you put it on the second one. So this is my slip knot where I started from, and that's the first chain, first V, and that's the second V. So in the second V, this loop that I have going, put a stitch marker there. And then so we've done 15. Put a stitch marker on the 15th one. Again, the same this side loop. Now we're gonna do double crochets, and that's why we're gonna chain 2 more. So we made 15, and then we chain 2 more. 1. Right. So I made 1 extra, and then we do 2 extra. So this is meant to give the height to your double crochet basically. So now this is the 15th chain, and this is 16, 17. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do double crochet. So for double crocheting, you have this loop on your hook. Now you go under and over, but instead of pulling through this loop like we did for 1 chain, we're gonna instead insert it in the 15th chain. So you see we did 15th and we marked it here, and then this was 16 and 17, as you can see from the V. Now I'm gonna put it in this, not the bottom chain, like not the bottom loops, the upper loops. What I've done is I had the hook loop yarn. Now I go under and over, and instead of pulling through like I always do, I'm gonna instead push it in the 15th chain like this. And now I have 3 loops on my hook. 1 2 3. Now I'm gonna again go under and over, and now I'm gonna pull through only through the first loop. So again, we had 3 loops, then I go under, from the left side I go under, from right side over, and then I pull through the first loop. Now again, I still have 3 loops. I do that once again, under, over, and pull through the first 2. Sorry, because of the double color it may look a little confusing, but yeah, just see 1 2 3. So first 2. This gets a little hard with this hook. Yep, I pull through the first 2 loops only, and lastly we're gonna pull through both. So after doing that, I'll just have 2 loops left on my hook, and I'm gonna repeat the under and over, and I'll pull through both of them this time. So that's your first double crochet. Now what we're gonna do is pull the loop, pull this loop like long. Now hold it like this, okay? Now make sure you put a stitch marker on the first double crochet you make. Just any first stitch you do, remember to put a stitch marker so you don't end up having extra stitches or less stitches. So you know how you put your loop like this. Now turn your work, see it from above, you see this V. You want to put your stitch marker through, like sort of hugging the V in a sense, you know. So I'm not putting it, I'm not putting it in this. I'm just enveloping it, you know. So put it like that. And that's my first stitch. That stitch marker marks my first stitch. Okay, I'm having a little hard time. Let me see if 8mm works a little better. Alright, so we're just gonna continue this till we reach the stitch marker we marked here. So again, we have this loop, pull it back to its normal size, okay? Then you go under, over, and instead of pulling through, so how do you notice, how do you tell which one is the next? So if you see, the one that you just inserted your hook in would be like pretty stretched out. And we also have the stitch marker for at least the first one telling us where to go. So this one is pretty stretched out, this hole. That's why I know this is the next hole. Alright, so I have this 1, 2, and then I insert in the next one. So I'm technically going in the 14th chain. Now I have 3 loops, and now I again go under, over, pull through the first loop only. Then we go under, over, pull through the first 2 loops only, and then you go under, over, and pull through both loops. And you don't need to mark any of the other stitches that you do yet. My bad. Yep, the first one is pretty important to mark. And we just continue this again. So again, I'll show slowly. You have this one loop, and you have yarn. You push like your hook forward, okay? So you have space to, you go like in this way, in this manner. You go under from the left side to the right side, then you come up from the right side. Then you have this little loop formed. Then you have this, of course, this is like I guess you can call it a fake loop. This kind of loop formed, and then you see here is where I can pull and tell that I put my double crochet just in here. So that's why this is the next loop I'm meant to insert it in. So now I'm going to insert it in this one, and now I have 3 loops on my hook. Again, from the go under from the left, come over from the right, and then pull. And then you do the same once again, under from the left, over from the right, and pull through the first 2 only. And now, one sec. Yep. And now, you again, last time under, over, and then pull through both the loops, and then you'll be left with a single loop. And that's how you know you have to move on to the next one. So under, over, and put your hook through the next loop, then under, over, first only, under, over, first 2 only, under, over, both of them. Oh, one sec, my bad. Under, over, pull through both of them. Okay, so I have, this is curling up, but I have reached the second chain where I put the stitch marker. So in the second chain, we're just normally gonna do the double crochet again. So we're just gonna do a normal double crochet. Now for this first chain that we made, we're actually gonna insert 3 double crochets in this little hoop. Yep, we're gonna do that. So you yarn over again, put it through once. So you make 1 double crochet. One second. I hate this. you make one double crochet first, and then you can see it opens up pretty wide. After that, you go ahead and put the the hook in it again, and then pull over once, pull over a second. One sec. So that is one sec. That is the second double crochet I put in the same small hole, and now you put the third one in too. Again, you're going through the same hole. Stupid yarn, I hate this yarn. Okay, anyways. No, I hate this yarn. Okay, now third one done. And now if you look, see, you can see the tail out from the foundation chain. Now if you look at it, you'd see like there's a little turn, These 3 double crochets that we did in the same loop sort of created a turn. At least you'll notice that when we proceed with our bag more. What is the next thing we're gonna do? Now, so next thing is like the work gets, like this thing gets turned. You know how we were going like this? We actually turn it now and we come this way. And we're actually gonna repeat. We're gonna put double crochets in like this side, which corresponds to this side, But the important thing to note here is we are not gonna start with the first chain because we just put 3 double crochets in that first chain. So that already created like a, that already created a turn. Now, where we put our stitch marker, we're actually gonna insert the next stitch in there. And now on the next one. Sorry, my recording had stopped and I ended up doing this much, but just to explain again, after we did the 3 double crochets in one stitch, you would see then we turn our work and then you pull this chain and you go under it and do double crochets all along this side. So make sure you don't end up entering like here. You need to like pull this chain up and then enter like under that hole. It's hard to see because it's a little tight, but you again just do normal double crochet, go under, over, then you have that chain on your hook and then you do your double crochets. One side. So what tends to happen is like usually when you're doing this side, this hole here, the one that's with both, like this hole particularly, which is this side of the chain, actually it appears to be like a very visible big hole. Not big, but like it seems like a more appropriate hole to put the hook in, but that's not the one we meant to put it in. We have to pull this up and then put it under this. So you do that till you reach your stitch marker on this side again. So I'm almost near the stitch marker, so I'm gonna do it like one last in this loop before the stitch marker, which is the 14th chain. Oopsies. Now what we're gonna do next is where I've put the stitch marker. Which one is this? Okay, yep. Where I've put the stitch marker, you see that this is the 15th stitch, and this is the 16, 17 extra stitches we did, the 2 extra stitches we did for the height, and then this is the first stitch that we marked. So we're gonna do an increase over here as well. So in the last 15th stitch, we're gonna do 2 double crochets in the same 15th loop, and after that we're gonna connect the last double crochet, like last stitch, the first one, through a slip stitch, and after that in the second round we're not going to be doing any increases, so it'll just be normal weight. So first we start off with two yep, double crochets in the same back in the same loop. Yeah, this is some hard work right now. Got a little tight. Man, I don't like this yarn, but it looks amazing. Anyways, so 2 done. Now pull this long again. Now you're gonna put a stitch marker to hold this last stitch together. You want to mark the last stitch, otherwise you like once we do the slip stitch, you may end up counting that as a double crochet when you do the next round, and you don't want to do that, because if you count the slip stitch as a double crochet stitch and end up making a double crochet in that, you're going to have extra stitches. So then instead of your bag going up straight, it will go either as a trapezium, or you can even miss stitches, so it'll go in a wrong direction. Basically it'll be a non-uniform wrong shape. That's why mark your last and your first stitch. So this is my last stitch. That's how you mark it. You see these V, right? You just like go under them and mark it. That was my last stitch. Now I'm gonna tighten this again. Now to do a slip stitch, what we're gonna do is, you see the first the first double crochet we did, how we started, we put a stitch marker there, and then okay, you can see all these V's, right? We're gonna go under the V's, like pull both the V's up and go through them. Don't go under like one side or second side, no, we're gonna go under both the sides of the V's. And also here, this time, to create a slip stitch, you're not gonna do this step, no, you're just gonna take your hook with just the one loop on it and go through the hole where your stitch marker is, and once you're through it, you can see you'll have both the side of the V's, like both the chains of the V's under over the hook, your first loop, and now you're gonna pull. Wait, yeah, you're just gonna do the from the left to right, over and under and over. Yeah, okay, yeah, and then pull it through the first loop and then the second loop. So you're gonna pull it through both the loops, and after you do that, you're just gonna tighten it. You know, I'm gonna show that once again. You have this loop, normal loop on your hook. You're gonna go under the V. You see the V's, and you see like there's a hole, there's a place to go under them. There's a V, like look at your work from the top. You see the V, then you look at it from the side, then you see like spaces to go under the V. So you're gonna go under the V. So you have both the sides of the V's over your hook. You're not gonna do, one sec, let me show you what you're not gonna do. You won't do this, and you won't do this, okay? You're not just gonna have one side of the V, you're gonna have both sides of the V under your, over your hook. Then you're gonna do the normal chain over thing we do, you know, like this. Then we're gonna pull through the first loop and then the second loop. So like both, yeah, you can pull through both the loops together. It was hard for me to do it in one go because of how thick they are, but yeah. Now after doing that, what we're gonna do after the slip stitch, we have to chain 2 because we're doing double crochets for the entire bag. So to give the height to the double crochets, you have to chain 2. One sec. So wait, I chained 1, right? And now I'm chaining the second one. Cool. Now we're gonna start the second round. Also, since there are no more increases, what we do in the second round, like from the second round onwards, it's all gonna just be the same pattern. Not pattern. You're just gonna be double crocheting in in all these V's for your desired height or the otherwise listed height. Okay, so after you have chained 2, you see you've chained it in this, I mean you've done the slip stitch in this one, and then one sec, yep, my stitch marker is in this only. Yeah, okay, so the V you just entered for your slip stitch and your for your slip stitch, the first stitch. So you did the slip stitch to connect the last stitch with the first one, and then you chain 2. Now we're gonna do double crochet again, but don't end up entering the second stitch. No, you're gonna still do it in the first stitch. Like the V you just went under for the slip stitch, you're gonna go in that hole again, but this time we're doing the double crochet. So you yarn over, you have first loop, second loop, and then you go under the V. So then you have the V also on top, so you have 3 loops. Then you pull, yarn over and pull. Now you still have 3 only, so you in the first step you only pull through the first one. Next you pull through the first 2. One sec, sorry. Yep, so I'm gonna pull through the first 2. Yep, and now I'll have 2 loops on my hook. I'm gonna pull through both of them. Now this is again my first double crochet of the second round. So make sure to pull your yarn wide and remember to mark this as well. So you see the stop V. So here you can see this is these are the first 2 chains we did to give the height to the double crochet. That's why, you know, the height. And now this is the first stitch we've made. So just mark it. Again, you have this like V. You go under the V and sort of engulf the V in the stitch marker. Wing, wing. Awesome. Not bad. Okay. Now you just continue double crocheting all around. Remember, like, to be careful when you come to this side, because you know, if you're using t-shirt yarn, it'll definitely sort of fold in, roll in, you know. So make sure to just push it open like that so you can still see the V's. As you can see, the V's have sort of caved in like that. So just push them open and go under them. Don't go under anything else. Alright, I'll see you near the end just to show you how to connect this once again. Okay, so I've almost completed my second round. Again, we just did it normally, double crocheting in all these stitches. Now I'm at the second last stitch. And then this is the last stitch. Sorry. I'm gonna double crochet in this, and then I'm gonna take out my stitch marker and mark the last stitch of round 2. Okay, so this is my last stitch. I'm going to take out the stitch marker from here and then mark it. Oh yeah, make sure you're not marking the loop you pull. Like, you pull this out and then under that you'll see a V at the base of the loop. That's where you put your stitch marker and engulf the V. Okay, after that we're gonna do slip stitch, and remember to chain 2. Every time you do a slip stitch, chain 2. And we put, so you have the hook, you go through the first stitch, you pull over, pull through the first loop, and pull through the second loop, tighten it, then chain 2. After you've chained 2, again you can count your chains, 1, 2. Then you're gonna do the double crochet in the same stitch you just did your slip stitch in. So I still have the stitch mark on, that's why I know. In this stitch I just made the slip stitch, and now I'm gonna proceed to do the double crochet again in this only. And that's how I'm gonna start the third round. Oh, by the way, something I didn't mention, I think, is depending on like which side you like the pattern, either from this side or the inside, just turn your work like inside out. It's better if you do this at the beginning only, so it helps your bag like get shaped in that manner. See, I like this side more, so I want it to be the side that shows. That's why I'm just going to turn it inside out and then press it so it gets the shape. Alright, so I did 5 rounds. You can just count them like this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did the slip stitch, and now we're gonna work on the handle. So for that, we're gonna chain. After doing the slip stitch, we're just gonna basically do a lot of chaining for the length of a handle. Once you make the first chain, put a stitch marker at the back of the chain. So let me show you. Alright, so when you make a chain, the front side, from one side you can see the V's, and from the back there's like a third chain. So like this right side constitutes like the right side of the V, this the left, and then there is one at the back, you see. Let me chain more so you can see. So mark the very first one, and then we're going to mark the very last one. Right, so now you see this front side where you can count the V's, 1, and then if you turn it at the back, this is the front side, then you turn it and then you see this back loop running. Gotta insert your stitch marker in the first back loop. It's probably gonna be the one that's like extra, like stretched out. Okay guys, so I've chained 30 now. So 30 is my last, since 30 is my last chain, I'm gonna make sure to put a stitch marker in the back chain of the 30th chain. There I'm putting it. So again, you can see the V in front and the chain you see at the back, which is like in the middle. You can see the right, left, and the middle. So put it in the middle. Next, what we're gonna do is, since we started from here, you attach it to the other side through a slip stitch. So I have my chain. Now I'm gonna go under the stitch I want to join the handle to. Then I'm gonna do the chain over and then pull through both the loops on my hook. It's a slip stitch. What we're gonna do next is actually doing like slip stitches throughout the back chain. So that's why you have to make your chains on the loose side. If you make them too tight, it'll be really hard to go into these back chains. So make loose chains. And then, so okay, we're just gonna, you know where you've put your stitch marker, that's where we're gonna insert our hook. We're gonna insert our hook in this back chain. We're just gonna slip stitch. So now we have two loops on our hooks. Pull through both. Yep, done. So you're just gonna insert your hook through the back chain and then do a slip stitch. So you know, to make sure that you're still like you're always entering the back chain, just look around, because it's very easy for it to get like twisted and then you may enter a wrong chain. So to avoid that, just always see, okay, this side is the V, so the other side must be the back chain. And you just keep on entering the back chain. Only the back chain is on your hook. It's possible sometimes that if you go under, you may end up going under both the back chain and this loop. Like you may end up going under this and this, so you have both of these. So just really pay attention to make sure it's only the back chain. And you just do this for the entire chain. Yeah. Okay, so now I've almost reached, I have reached the end of going through the back knots. Wait, this is the last one. Then as you can see, the handle has become better, thick, sturdy. Now to end this, you're just gonna go back in the same stitch you started from and do a slip stitch. Okay, done. So this is on the inside. You can pull a lot of strand over here itself, or you can like chain one exactly. Yep, you can chain one and pull some yarn and just cut it off. Yep, that much seems fine. And then cut it off. Alright, so just tighten that part. Tighten it towards the inside. And we're done. Now all these loose ends, we're gonna just sort of stitch them in on the inside. Alright, so the way we're gonna do this is on the inside. If you want, you can turn your work inside out for this one. Yeah, let's do that. So I have plenty loose ends. Make sure when you're doing this, you don't pull any stitch like very long. Don't pull it too hard, because otherwise the holes, like the stitches, will become big. You'll have big uneven holes in your bag, and also then the yarn you're stitching in from the other side, stitching might be a wrong word, I don't know what to call this, but yeah, then the yarn would show on the other side, and you don't want it to, because right now you have a particular pattern going, and here this is just like, this won't make sense basically. Alright, I've finished, as you can see, just hiding the loose ends. Now I'm gonna turn it inside out again. I mean, yeah, turning it to normal front side. Yep, none of the loose ends are showing. Yeah, only one was showing over here. I pushed it back in, so it's probably, yep. So nothing is showing outside. This is a simple, cute bag.